You're right, we have Monalisa Murray, who's here tonight. Who is a veteran DJ, veteran supporter, advocate. Garth Trinidad once called her both a hustler and the wire in the network, which I liked a lot. Every network needs that wire. So Monalisa, I wanted to ask you about, as someone who DJs both out live but also post mixes online. I was listening to some of your really fantastic work today. I'm just wondering, could you talk about, as a DJ, as a selector, as a mixer, some of these same issues in terms of the way a producer approaches a record, but as a DJ, what are some of the choices that you're making when you're putting mixes together? And does it change versus playing out in front of a crowd or assembling something at home or in the studio that goes online?
Well, it always changes per situation. I always like to play stuff that other people don't play. I mean, you can go to a club any night and hear any given list of songs. You can hear Check the Rhyme, you can hear Dwick, you can hear The World Is Yours, you can hear all kind of stuff. But I like to play stuff that people don't normally play because I feel like you said, I'm the wire in the network. I'm like an educator. So I feel like I want to teach people about stuff that they haven't heard before or that they don't hear that often or that they may not hear ever again or, things like that. As far as like breaks, like I learned about breaks from listening. I learned about breaks from people telling me, but I also learned from doing my own research. So I also like to play breaks for people that, that they may not have heard. I like to play stuff from other countries, stuff that you just don't hear all the time. I feel like I became a DJ because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to fill in the gap of the people that don't teach, educate people about certain things. So like for example, I grew up here in LA. So in LA we had like K-Day, we had Uncle Jam's Army, we had like our movements out here. But then in New York there's a DJ named Larry Levan who was one of the biggest, if not the biggest club DJ in New York City. And a lot of people in LA have no idea who Larry Levan is. They don't know his music, they don't know what he played, they don't know what he stood for. So sometimes when I DJ, I'll play Larry Levan's remixes or stuff that he played in his club, and people will be like, this song is great, I've never heard this before. And I'm like, that's what I went for. I went for you to hear this song that you never heard before. And a lot of the music that Larry played at the club he DJ'd at called Paradise Garage is a lot of the music that was sampled in the hip-hop songs that you hear today. A lot of Organized Confusion, a lot of Pete Rock stuff, a lot of Primo stuff, a lot of all those producers that came from New York all heard those records in their parents' house when, after they came from the club or whatever, they went to Paradise Garage, heard that music, and then their parents played it in the house. And then as those producers got older, they were like, hey, let me go sample that song that my parents used to play on the record player or whatever. So it all goes back to that. I like to play just different things that stand out, whether it's like a break that nobody's ever sampled before or a break that's been sampled but nobody ever plays the original. I just feel like that is what I do, and I feel like a lot of DJs that I look up to do that as well. They like to play breaks, they like to play stuff that people don't normally hear, and I think that's a really important part of bridging that gap too between what's going on today and what happened back in the day. A lot of people don't play certain songs that explain the difference between what went on back in the day and what goes on now.
So back to an idea that Brother Jay mentioned about chemistry. You don't want people biting your chemistry. So I wanted you to talk about chemistry on one of your mixes, the Mandala mix. Explain to us the chemistry that gets you to connect Poor Righteous Teachers, Aaliyah, George Benson, and Kenny G.
Okay, well, one of the things about that mix, I work at Amoeba Music in Hollywood, and it's a record store. So the record store, in there, we sell everything from jazz music to classical to experimental to, rock, funk, world, everything. So when I do my mixes in the store, I specifically do those mixes so that I expand around the whole perimeter of the store. I'm not going to put country or regional Mexican music in there unless it fits. Unless it fits.
2014,
if it fits, I will do it. If it fits, I'll do it. But I don't always do that. So in putting the Shaquille, the Poor Righteous Teachers, and the Aaliyah, that was representing, okay, I'm going to start in the hip-hop corner. I'm going to move over to soul. I kind of moved around the store geographically to hit all the corners. And so moved in the middle, and then I played some soul and some funk in the middle of that. Yeah. And then when I got to the George Benson and the Kenny G, a lot of people don't know that's Kenny G, by the way. So I'm glad that you picked that up.
I don't know what that says about
People
me.
think it's
Yeah.
people think it's just a regular funk record, and both the George Benson record and the Kashif and the Kenny G record were both produced by Kashif, who is in the soul section. So it all correlates. And then at the end of that same mix, I go into house music, but then I hit the Jungle Brothers because the Jungle Brothers had house music that they did, and then I went back into the house music and ended it with that. But there's also some electronica in the middle. But I do it to educate everybody about what we sell in the store. In case somebody comes up and is like, hey, what's this song? I'll be like, oh, it's this song, you can find it right over there. Okay, this song you can find right over there, and this song you can find right over there. So those mixes, the mandalas are specifically done to teach people about what we sell in the store.
Are you